don't need all this stuff. Why am I acting like I'm freaking moving to Alaska for a year right now? I'm not.
Everyone has an idea in their brain somewhere. Some people just never think it's a possibility to actually tackle that idea and make it into some kind of reality.
I decided to Google mid-sized cities near major airports, basically, and an article had popped up around Tulsa Remote. So
it was only a few months between getting in and packing all my stuff and moving up to Tulsa.
I was definitely thinking, what did I just do? I just moved to Oklahoma. I've never been here in my life. Overall, I was excited to get started in a new place and see what I could do.
She replied today and says she thinks my company is really intriguing. She might be able to bring some insight to the table as a software engineer who was a college athlete. With more time and info, I might be interested in investing.
So Tulsa Remote is a opportunity where people can come to Tulsa for a year and essentially get $10,000. The point of Tulsa Remote is to get young professionals, or I guess it can be any remote professionals, excited about working and living in Tulsa.
I think they turned out okay. First order.
I actually applied twice and got in my second time. Came and checked it out, liked what I saw, so I decided I'd move.
I was, at the time, recently promoted at my job to a point where I could work remote. Tulsa Remote had been announced maybe 2 weeks prior to me kind of beginning my relocation search. I was living in Boston at the time and I was just really tired of it. My name is Jacqueline, or Jackie's. I'm 35 years old and I work in corporate philanthropy.
My name is Hunter Solano. I am a student and entrepreneur, and I'm living in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
We're gonna get out, so you're forced to go out and do something else but working.
I sometimes call myself a serial entrepreneur, and basically what I mean is I'm always coming up with new ideas and trying to tackle those ideas in different ways. I'm working on a project, a business, a startup called Athlete Reserve. The goal of this platform is to connect college athletes with sponsorship opportunities in their communities.
A platform like Athlete Reserve would have helped me majorly because right now it's possible for athletes to make money off of their own name. Something that could have given me the opportunity to be a painter and an athlete, it would have been like a cheat code, if anything.
What really encouraged me to pursue this idea was a program called Builders and Backers. You can submit your business plan, your idea, and they choose different people from different cities to participate in the program. It's an idea accelerator program. So basically they give you resources, a small stipend, and connections, mentorship, stuff like that to help you get your idea going.
Next question, what kind of brands are you looking to work with?
I really don't care. I'll work with anything.
But if you could name 3 dream companies, anything, what would you say?
My project was called Regenerate Reimagine, and basically the premise was, can we use art as a way to generate new conversations about economic development? In a lot of different cities, they do these city beautification efforts where they kind of put art in places to help create more community and safety in neighborhoods. We had focused in the Kendall Whittier neighborhood, and I worked with the Main Street Association there in Kendall Whittier to get information on what are business concepts that community wanted to see. And then we created essentially renderings of those business concepts as art and put them in vacant storefronts as a way to bring awareness to the ideas that the community has of what their neighborhood could be. But it was really cool to have feedback where people would be looking at a mural and someone would walk by and be like, oh, is that coming to town? And we'd say, no, it's not really, but there were some ways to think about supporting bringing that idea to town. And that's what art's supposed to do.
That's the thing about the art, you know what I'm saying? It's this is how I view, this is what it is, but through my eyes.
Failure is always on the back of my mind, but I can't dread on it too much because I know that if my idea fails, well, I've weighed the risks ahead of time, so I know what the consequences of failure would be.
It's not an easy journey. A lot of times it can be very lonely because we're dealing with things that are, just very specific to our own journey, and a lot of times it's not something that has a lot of support.
So I would charge a lot more.
Got it.
I think I'm absolutely afraid of failure, but I'm also okay with failing because I think that a lot of things that we do are going to be trial and error, and there's going to be naturally like places that we just fail. And a lot of times, you know, we have these ideas that seem so like big and scary, and sometimes even that part of it can like cripple us. There's just a lot less stability in this journey, so that's probably been a struggle in itself. And yeah, and there's just a lot of unknowns. Sometimes you're dealing with challenges that maybe you don't necessarily have the tools to like address, or you don't have the right support system to do certain things. So I would always tell people, like, don't feel like you have to do something and, you know, go right to the deep end. It's okay to like take baby steps and start small, and if you get some sort of like traction there, double down and keep going. If you don't get any response, maybe go another pathway of going small. But I always say smaller the better, because that movement is what gets things to like eventually kind of like move and like fireball. Ooh, snowball, hit my knee. I said fireball. So there's a lot of like unknowns and things that come your way, but I think it's still really important to just stick to the course and, you know, and just be confident in that process. T-Town, baby. Like whatever. What do we call Tulsa? T-Town, yeah. Tulsa needs a nickname.
For me, you know, it would have been great to see one of these ideas become a reality, but there would have probably been a lot of missteps along the way. And by just taking it step by step, like phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3, we're going to be able to work through those in a much smoother process, so that when we do actually scale fully, it'll be just a much smoother, stronger initiative. Just trying to train yourself to think small and to do baby steps.
So the first step is just starting small, do something, reach out to someone who may have more knowledge than you, and just try something small. Start with building a website, or, you know, there's tons of drag and drop websites, but just put your idea out there, see how people respond to it, and then go from there.
With the rise of vaccine rates and more relaxed state mandates, schools are slowly going back to their old ways, masks being made only as an option for students rather than mandatory. Mr. Hanselman, director of the Tulsa Tech Riverside campus, gives insight on what it's like running a school in the midst of a pandemic.
Everybody's life was impacted, and education.
As NCAA rules, at the time, I couldn't make money for myself and I couldn't work a job. So getting money was like a very hard thing as a college student. Me not being able to make money as an athlete, that was a big reason why I stopped playing football. I would say that a platform like Athlete Reserve would have helped me majorly, because right now it's possible for athletes to make money off of their own name. Something that could have given me the opportunity to like be a painter and an athlete would have been like a cheat code, if anything.
This is not the way. Manager Blake Moses says they were planning on remodeling at Rodeo Nightclub.
Yeah, we were planning on doing remodels and repainting, so I guess we got our wish.
They're cleaning up after police say thieves stole this 2013 red Challenger at Quick Trip and then rammed it into the exit of this building multiple times.
Went through it, backed up, went through it, backed up, went through it again. I don't know why they're trying to steal. They could have just hit it once and ran in, but...
A few minutes later, you see the thieves run outside. They seem confused. Then they run away with nothing.
Just took off running around the corner.
Moses thinks the thieves were trying to get money from the cash register, but had no luck. Despite the mess, Moses is happy.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been 5 feet over. It could have been shut down for months. It could have went in farther. Interior walls could have fell down, but luckily just everything stayed.
They can reopen this Thursday with a catch.
So everybody come out, no entry due to no door.
No entry fee because there's no door. In East Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Amanda Gilbert, Fox 23 News. Firefighters say it was mainly just grass and brush that burned, but it's a lot. It's about 20 acres, and bending down, you can see just how dry the grass is. It basically looks like ash and kind of crumbles in my hand. Kristen Martin woke up and saw this outside her house. So she told her boyfriend to call for help.
I don't know. I got up to get a drink of water, and I just remember freaking out. I looked out the kitchen window, and it was just bright orange and flames and stuff. I just was yelling at him, call 911.
Coweta and Stone Bluff fire departments raced to the area.
I ran down that way to get them, and it almost looked like there was a fire tornado, like in the middle of the field. It was just because the wind just kept whipping and whipping it this way, and it was just, the embers were flying everywhere, and I was like, oh my gosh.
The flames grew as the fire scorched not just grass and brush, but also cars and RVs.
There was 3 RV trailers over there, and they were full of like tools and stuff, and then there was 2 semi-trailers and a truck.
As the sun came up, you could see the extent of the damage. So you can get an idea of how big this fire was. There's about 1.23 acres in a football field. That's around 15 football fields of grass and brush that burned. Chief Jerry Burtner says they'll keep an eye out on the area. They're watching for any hot spots in the wind. He tells people, please just be careful.
Just be careful if you're going to do any kind of burning. I would suggest not burning for a couple days. We're supposed to get some rain at the end of the week.
But the people like Kristen who live close to this fire say they're just grateful to firefighters.
Thank you so very much. You guys did an excellent job because, I mean, this could have been really bad.
One section, there's just a line of units that look destroyed. So still very much an active scene. But we're going to show you video that our crew shot earlier this morning. And you can see those flames just shooting out of this apartment complex. That's scary just looking at that video. You can see the flames and then the thick smoke just billowing out from that. Firefighters have been working very hard to put this out. We haven't talked to them yet because they say they're still just so busy dealing with all this. But coming back, Caps, 103 to be exact, got some unexpected freedom. The trailer they were in wrecked on I-44 in West Tulsa, and they escaped.
There were several cattle that were running up and down the highways.
Tulsa Police Captain Jared Hart says the loose calves caused multiple minor accidents.
A lot of the cows are black or dark in color, and drivers can't see them until they get up.
Law enforcement had to shut down on-ramps and major highways overnight. I-44 was closed for 6 hours. OHP knew they needed backup. No, not just police. They needed Oklahoma Cowboys.
The Cowboys are a tremendous help. They can move with their horses a lot quicker than we can in cars. And then they obviously have more ropes and more tools.
It turned into wild, wild West Tulsa as Cowboys worked throughout the night to get those calves moving.
We've been able to do this without them. It was, for lack of better words, kind of like herding cats there for a while until we got the materials that we needed, the trailers and the ropes.
Roads opened back up before rush hour. Sadly, 10 calves did have to be put down because of their injuries, but most were captured.
No yippee here. I'm cold and ready to get them all corralled.
It is a wild story that actually did not shock Trooper Mark Southam.
It is, and honestly, it happens often. It happens. It's happened quite a few times in my 16-year career.
Let's go ahead, though, and take another look at this great rescue video. Firefighters say they tried to use an oxygen mask at one point, but the dog seemed to be doing okay. She was conscious. Sadly, her 3 puppies did not make it out. They were just too small. Firefighters say they're just shocked any of these dogs survived.
And we found a dog, and it was alive. Shocking to all of us because the room that dog was in, it was as hot and as smoky as you can get, and it was buried under some rubble under a dining room table back in the kitchen.
What kind of condition was the dog in?
It was scared, but it looked pretty good. I mean, it was alive and breathing.
And let's take a look at the fire before the rescue. You can see all of that smoke just pouring out of the home, billowing out. The fire was really going on, and firefighters say they're not sure of the cause. They're still trying to figure out exactly who was home when the fire started. By the time they got there was no one inside.
In North Tulsa, this is near Pine and the LL Tisdale Parkway. Fire crews still on scene working there. Looks like they've put out the fire. They say the front half of the home was fully engulfed. Now, firefighters told us that they found a dog inside the house, but that dog made it out okay. Our photographer, oh, look at the pup there. So sweet. Glad that that dog is doing okay. What a sweetheart. Glad that the dog was able to make it out okay. And looks like the firefighters there are taking very good care of that sweet pup. There was also a lot of debris scattered in the front yard of that home, making it difficult to
The Ghost on Greenwood opened just over a week ago on the patio of Lefty's at the corner of Archer and Greenwood. The owner says late night eats are hard to come by in Tulsa.
What we're trying to do is bring late night food into the downtown North Tulsa area because there's definitely a need for that. You know, it's so deserted after 10 o'clock, really, downtown.
It is takeout only. The pickup window is open Thursday through Saturday from 11:30 p.m. to 4:30
a.m. and shot this video out her window after she woke up to the sound of gunshots.
And once I woke up, really and fully looked out the window, I saw about 4 officers outside.
She didn't want to go on camera, but says she's heard of a lot of crime in the area.
Trying to defend, their property is kind of creepy, but you see that a lot out here. You see a lot of activity at night.
Police say around 1:15, a man and woman in their 20s noticed someone who appeared to be stealing from their car at Sandy Park Apartments.
Looked out their window and saw somebody messing with their car, believed it to be a car burglar. Opened the door, yelled at them, confronted them. The person went to run, so they jumped in their car and tried to chase the person.
But the thief pulled out a gun and shot at them.
Turned out to be that the driver was shot in the back. So at this point, the driver immediately tried to go to the hospital.
The victim didn't get far. He hit this utility pole, wrecked his car, and sadly later died at the hospital.
If you witness somebody messing with your stuff or breaking into your car, please call us. Don't confront them.
Captain Jared Hart says this is a sad reminder of what can happen if you chase a criminal.
I mean, it would be a lot easier to let us do our job. That's what we're here to do, and not put yourself in harm's way.
Police say there's surveillance cameras at the apartment, and they're trying to find witnesses. But for now, they don't have a lot of information about the shooter. In West Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm